What is dependency theory? Have you ever wondered why some countries seem to struggle economically while others thrive? This question leads us to the concept of dependency theory. Dependency theory is an economic and sociological framework that explains the ongoing underdevelopment of poorer countries. It suggests that this underdevelopment is due to their reliance on wealthier nations. In this theory, resources such as raw materials and cheap labor flow from poorer countries, often referred to as the periphery, to wealthier nations, known as the core. This relationship enriches the core countries while keeping the periphery in a cycle of dependency. As a result, poorer nations find it difficult to develop their own industries or infrastructure. Dependency theory emerged in the late 1950s and gained traction in the 60s and 70s. It arose as a critique of modernization theory, which claimed that all countries follow a similar path of development. Modernization theory believed that poorer nations could catch up by adopting practices from developed countries. However, dependency theory rejects this idea. It emphasizes that the global economic system is structured to benefit developed nations while limiting the growth potential of developing ones. Key elements of dependency theory include the existence of advanced nations that exploit the resources of poorer nations. Wealthier countries often control the economic choices of poorer countries, perpetuating their dependency. Historical roots in colonialism also play a significant role. Colonial powers extracted resources and controlled the economies of less developed nations for their own benefit. This creates an economic structure that forces poorer countries to export raw materials at low prices while importing expensive finished goods. This dynamic drains capital that could otherwise be invested in their own development. Dependency theorists can be divided into two groups: neo-Marxists and liberal reformists. Neo-Marxists argue that capitalism inherently requires unequal wealth distribution and exploitation. They often advocate for radical changes, such as socialist national economies. On the other hand, liberal reformists suggest targeted policy interventions to improve conditions within the existing system. From a libertarian perspective, which values individual freedom and free markets, dependency theory raises important concerns about foreign aid. Libertarians argue that foreign aid can unintentionally create or reinforce dependency. When misapplied, it can undermine local initiative and economic self-sufficiency. Instead of fostering reliance on external support, libertarians believe in encouraging free trade and entrepreneurship. They emphasize that true development comes from reducing government interference and allowing nations to build their economies independently. In practical terms, libertarianism suggests minimizing foreign aid programs that create dependency. Instead, the focus should be on removing trade barriers, encouraging private investment, and supporting policies that enable developing countries to engage in mutually beneficial economic exchanges. In essence, dependency theory explains the economic struggles of poorer nations as a result of their structural dependence on wealthier countries. This dependence is rooted in historical exploitation and maintained through unequal economic relations. From a libertarian viewpoint, addressing these issues involves reducing state intervention and foreign aid that fosters dependency while promoting free markets and economic freedom as the path to sustainable development.